What's going on, everyone? I'm Steve from Burke Family 54 Comics, and in today's video, we're going to be reviewing Deadpool and Wolverine, and I got a little bit of a haul at the end of today's video. Before we do that, though, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and tell your friends, and consider joining the channel for just $1.99. So, over the weekend, actually on Saturday, I went to go see Deadpool and Wolverine. It was a lot of fun. I actually posted my review on a short, and it actually got a lot of traction. I think it got around 8,000 views or so. I gave it a 9 out of 10, and I'm here to review it again and talk about why I gave it a 9 out of 10. So I'm still sticking with that 9 out of 10. I think it's a really, really, really good movie. But I got a lot of slack for not giving it a 10 out of 10. Someone actually called me a boomer because I said that the intro to that movie, which I'm not going to give any spoilers out or anything, is a very fun and fantastic intro. It's still not better than the intro to Batman the Dark Knight. I got called a boomer for saying that movie that came out in 2008, which was the same year as Iron Man. I got called a boomer again for saying that that intro is better than Deadpool and Wolverine. I still think it is. I still think that is the bar for superhero movies. I just think it's the best intro probably to a comic book movie of all time. So now the intro to this movie in the movie overall is very, very, very good. Like I said, I gave it a 9 out of 10. We're going to talk about why. So the movie is a lot of fun. There's lots of jokes, bad language, action, blood. It's just a really fun movie. And you know, going into it, that's what you're going to get, right? Like, this is probably not a movie that I would ever see again. Maybe one other time with my wife, since she never got to see it this past weekend. But I don't really need to see it more than one more time. It's, for me, like, there are certain movies that I'm like, I'm going to watch this several times because it's that good. This movie's not that. Like, TMNT that came out last year was very good. I saw it multiple times. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, a bunch of other movies I feel like have better rewatchability factors to it than this movie. But that doesn't mean this isn't a fun movie. Like I said, I gave it a 9 out of 10 for a reason. It's a lot of fun. There's lots of cameos in this movie, as everyone expected and suspected. Actually, there was a lot more than I can count, and a lot more that I actually did not anticipate, and I have no idea how they were able to keep some of those under wraps. So it was pretty cool, and some of those cameos were actually, I feel like maybe this is why everyone likes the movie, is because the amount of cameos that are in it. It's very nostalgic. It has that very much like the third Tom Holland Spider-Man movie feel to it, where there's lots of cameos in it, and it makes it more fun. Just because there's cameos in it and there's lots of nostalgia doesn't mean it's the best movie. Now, I enjoyed that movie quite a bit. I saw it opening weekend as well. But the story was not the best. Despite the action, despite the jokes, despite the cameos, I felt like the story left a lot to be desired. And I was getting pretty tired of the fingers. If you watch a movie, you know what I'm talking about. That made it very weird. Just overall, I didn't think the story was that good. And the ending with the fight scene and how that ended gave very much like worse, in my opinion, worse than the Martha vibes from Batman Superman, which was, that's a whole other story. Like, that was not very good how that fight ended like that. The fight ending in this gave off, like I said, worse vibes than that. But it gave off funnier vibes as well. So, I don't know. I still give it a 9 out of 10. The only 10 out of 10 comic book movies that I've seen that I would give a 10 out of 10 to are Batman the Dark Knight, arguably the greatest live-action superhero movie of all time. A very grounded film by Christopher Nolan. And then the other movie that I give a 10 out of 10 to would be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I feel like both of those movies capture the character very well. The story holds up amazing, and the action is just almost perfect. I think both of those movies, I've seen them multiple times. I would still watch them multiple times. They are that good. This movie's fun. It's a lot of fun, lots of cameos, good action, good jokes. I mean, but you can only hear a certain amount of jokes so many times, right? Like after that, it's really not funny anymore. So very good movie. But again, like I said, I got a lot of slack for not giving it a 10 out of 10. Some people said, well, you can't really judge this movie against those other movies that I mentioned because this movie is kind of like an ensemble cast, obviously with a lot of cameos in it. Here's what I want to say to that. There's a lot of other ensemble movies that are extremely better. Not saying this is a bad movie. Like I said, I gave it a 9 out of 10, but there are other ensemble movies that are better. Avengers, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and one of my favorites, Zack Snyder's Justice League. I feel like all three of those significantly better than this movie. But, you know, I went to the movie theater knowing that it was going to be a lot of fun, a lot of jokes, a lot of action. Very much kind of like what you go to see, like Godzilla versus King Kong. Like a movie just like that. A lot of fun. A movie you probably never see a second time or a third time, but it doesn't mean it's not a fun movie. So I still give it a 9 out of 10. Very good film. It's definitely going to hit 1 billion over the next week or two. Probably get up to 1.5 billion, honestly, because so many people want to see it with the nostalgia factor. Hugh being in it with Ryan Reynolds. I feel like they know what they're doing by bringing back some of these characters. You know what I'm talking about, the San Diego Comic-Con announcements. Bringing back some of these characters to get more people excited and hyped about it. I don't know. I feel like that's the way they're making their bucks, because a lot of the other movies that they did not do that to did not perform as well, and the stories have not been as good. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But again, I give it a 9 out of 10. So now that we have reviewed Deadpool and Wolverine, I do want to talk about one other thing that I got. I just got this yesterday. This is a comic book haul-ish thing. So my good friend Mike V messaged me, and he's like, dude, check this out. Is this a Clayton Crane cover? Is this a Clayton Crane art? And this was at Hobby Lobby, and he sent me a picture. And I looked at it, and I was like, yo, that looks sick. Let me go see if my Hobby Lobby has it. And they had it for $25.99. And I bought it for my classroom because I'm a teacher. Maybe I'll put it up in here. I don't know. I'm running out of room in here, that's for sure. But this is a Batman art piece, 36 by 24 home decor. My seat just went down as I'm trying to make this big enough. Pretty cool. And then this lights up as well if you plug it in, which I'm not going to plug it in because I've read some reviews where it said it almost started a fire. So that's going to go on my wall at work. It does look like a Clayton Crane cover, but I actually don't think it is when looking at it. It's still pretty sick though. It's pretty sick, and I'm a big DC and Batman fan, so that's going to go in my classroom at school. Got it for $25.99 plus tax. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. So that is the haul as I try to raise up my chair again. There we go. So that's my review of Deadpool and Wolverine. That's my haul. Something comic book wise. Again, I'm Steve from Burke Family 54 Comics. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about my review today. Did you guys see it? What do you guys think about the movie? All that and more. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. And as always, go Cats.
Cowabunga. It's morphin' time.